The Gipsy Prophecy. "I really think," said the doctor, "that at any rate one of us should go and try whether or not the thing is an imposture." "Good," said Considine. "After dinner we will take our cigars and stroll over to the camp." Accordingly, when the dinner was over and the lecture finished, Joshua Considine and his friend Dr. Burley went over to the east side of the moor where the gipsy encampment lay. As they were leaving, Mary Considine, who had walked as far as the end of the garden where it opened into the laneway, called after her husband, "Mind, Joshua, you are to give them a fair chance, but don't give them any clue to a fortune, and don't you get flirting with any of the gipsy maidens, and take care to keep Gerald out of harm." For answer, Considine held up his hand as if taking a stage oath, and whistled the air of the old song, The Gipsy Countess. Gerald joined in the strain, and then, breaking into merry laughter, the two men passed along the laneway to the common, turning now and then to wave their hands to Mary, who leaned over the gate in the twilight, looking after them. It was a lovely evening in the summer. The very air was full of rest and quiet happiness, as though an outward type of the peacefulness and joy which made a heaven of the home of young married folk. Considine's life had not been an eventful one. The only disturbing element which he had ever known was in his wooing of Mary Winston, and the long-continued objection of her ambitious parents, who expected a brilliant match for their only daughter. When Mr. and Mrs. Winston had discovered the attachment of the young barrister, they had tried to keep the young people apart by sending their daughter away for a long round of visits, having made her promise not to correspond with her lover during her absence. Love, however, had stood the test. Neither absence nor neglect seemed to cool the passion of the young man, and jealousy seemed a thing unknown to his sanguine nature. So, after a long period of waiting, the parents had given in, and the young folk were married. They had been living in the cottage a few months, and were just beginning to feel at home. Gerald Burley, Joshua's old college chum, and himself a sometime victim of Mary's beauty, had arrived a week before to stay with them for as long a time as he could tear himself away from his work in London.